so it works much better. Okay, right now we are ready. Maybe let's just check from the side. I think the nose is quite nice. I think the eyes are quite okay. The ear are quite okay too. And I think it's the right time for now to start doing a retopo. So I will be switching screen for the retopo part because I'm usually doing it with a mouse, and here I'm on the Cintiq for the sculpt. So let's do that quickly. It will be a slight hiccup in the recording, and then I will show you my setup for the retopo part. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to set up this file to be ready for the retopology of my character. So what I will do is I will first make sure that I have a correct name. So I will call this sculpt, I will call this eyes, and I will put everything in a collection by pressing M. Move from local view. Apparently I've Control M, sorry, no, it's M, it should be M. Remove from local view. So I've messed up with my shortcuts. Let me look at the key map. Let's press the key binding and press M. And I think I've added move to layer. I've added vertex paint. Is it that? Oh, sorry, I need to go out of local view. Okay, sure. And now M and new collection, and let's call this sculpt. Okay, and press slash again, and now I want to be in the center of this mesh, so press Shift S, cursor to selected. Let's add some geometry. Let's add a quad in this context, and add enter in edit mode, add a cut in the center, remove the side part, and let's press Q and add a mirror. So if you don't have the mirror modifier in your quick favorite, you can add modifier and right click over there and add it to the quick favorite. And in edit mode, I've also added the clipping option in the quick favorite. So you can see here I have the clip, which basically enables this part. Okay. So now I can bring this forward. Let's press make sure we are in median point for the cursor. It's comma key and median point, semicolon key, sorry, and median point. And I'm going to be ready for the retopo. So for the retopo, also what I want to do is instead of being in matcap, I want random color or single, or in fact, I'm going to go in Studio, which is going to be best, I think, like that. And I want this object to have a material that will be, for instance, bluish, or something like that. And I want to display the wire, so I'm going to press Q and display wire. If you don't have this in your quick favorite, again, it's in the viewport display while selecting the object, and you right click on this option and you add it to the quick favorite. And also in front, so I'm going to add in front. Again, it's there, and I've added it in the quick favorite. And so now I will be ready to deal with my topology. So you can see that there is this sort of slider over there that's quite interesting because it enables you to fade out the non-active geometry, so you can remove it if you don't want it. I'm going to add a little bit of it, and also I want to deal with the back face in the viewport display. So I think it's over there, and I want back face culling. So I will be able to see the front side of the polygons and not the back side, which is cool. Next thing is to enable snapping. So the shortcut for that is Shift Tab. And I also want to snap to the face. I want not backface culling, but I want align to project individual elements, rotate and scale. I'm pressing Shift in order to select multiple. And I think like that, when pressing, when moving and doing something, I'm ready to snap to the correct geometry, which is quite nice. Okay, so now For the retopo, let me also, by the way, right click and join the timeline. And for the retopo, it's going to be quite easy. I'm going to maximize this space by pressing Control Space. And you know what? This is quite hard to see, so I'm going to remove the fade like that. And for now, the only thing I want to do is to extrude the different faces. Let me see if adding cavity could help to see the volumes a bit better. I'm right-clicking the objects and adding the smooth. So apparently cavity is not really nice. I want the valley, sorry. Let's try with rolled or both. So it increases the zone. It's like a fake ambient occlusion, as you can see. And I think this can be interesting for us. I'm gonna remove the ridge, or like, yeah, I'm gonna try something like that. Okay, just to have a much more interesting view of the thing. So now what I'm doing is that I'm right-clicking while pressing Control in order to add the first loop that we want, and the first loop that we want is called the mask. So the mask is basically going around the face and is going to help me define the shape of the eyebrows, of the eye, and basically many places that will be quite important for the later connection and of the different facial features. So now I can maybe define the jawline. So let's add one more cut over there, maybe one cut over there. This is going to be an animated model, so I'm not going to bother myself with the density. I'm going to reach for a medium poly character, so it's going to be alright adding some cuts. Okay, so let's add the jawline. So I've extruded the side plane, and now I can extrude follow the jawline like this, making sure I have enough topology to do that. Something like that will be fine. Then I will extrude the top of the nose like this until I can separate it. So I will be able to over there extrude another loop that will let me add one cut over there, and I press G to project it. And there I think I'm gonna add a loop like this. So one tool that I'm using a lot is the F2 add-on. So if you don't have it enabled, you can go in add-on, press type F2 over there, and you will be able to enable it. And this add-on is super cool because when you have an angle like this, you can select the vertex that is in the corner, and you can put your mouse in the direction where you want to generate a face, and you press F, and it generates a face. So here, if I want to redirect the flow, I can extrude a vertex, select this one, and press F, and as you can see, I can generate quickly a face that will enable me to go down here, down the face. So I can do something like this, for instance. Okay. This is the loft line, which is a quite important landmark regarding the topology. And one other thing that I usually want to have in my mesh, but it's very particular it's very specific, sorry, is I want a loop that connects the side here of the nose. So I'm going to add it, and that follows exactly the same loop, the same pattern than this one. So I'm gonna make a small space over there. I'm going to connect things a bit, and then this is going to be very small, but this is going to be quite important to define some of the space that we have over there. And for later on, if we decide to animate this character, and so therefore to create a facial rig, we'll have a much more definition on the corner of the lips. So I'm going to to do that. Here I'm going to close the face. So in order to close the face, you know that using Blender you can select an edge like this and press F in order to generate a new face. So here I'm going to press F, 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 and you can see it generates the full loop, which is quite nice. So over there, like I have the loop that goes around there. Here, this loop will come on top of the nostril. I know I will be able to add one more, so let's add one more for now, and let's try to separate the nose as one piece. So I'm going to go around here the nose topology, something like that, and basically this loop is going to go around the nose, just separating the nose into its own piece. Okay, you can see that this separates the area of the nose, this separates the mask, this separates the loft line, this will basically join back to the nose, and we'll have a similar loop for the mouth. Okay, later on when we'll deal with the mouth. So basically for now I can fill there, and maybe, you know what, I'm gonna extrude one piece there that I can connect there, and this will I can maybe already join this by pressing M and at last, and I can already maybe start to expand this loop a little bit more in order to prepare to add one more loop there. So I can extrude, not extrude, but I can expand this loop, scaling, moving it. I know it will snap, and I can already add one more loop, and this loop I can go in a view where I see all the vertices and press G in order to project it. Okay, so adding one more cut over there will lead me to a closed piece, so I can close the geometry there. And here I'm pretty sure that I can easily now generate the faces that will go down, as you can see, the nose, and I can close the gap. So that's quite nice. Let's temporarily remove the visibility of the mirror modifier so it's easier to see there. And now I know that I want this kind of shape for the nostrils. So here I think I have an issue regarding the faces. No, apparently it's okay. I don't know why it's way bigger in terms of, it's maybe the cavity option, so I'm okay with that. So one thing I want is, like, for the nostrils I want another separation there, so I'm gonna do that, and at this point there I know that this goes inside, so I will extrude a loop that goes inside, okay, and that comes back toward the center. So here I can add two loops by pressing Ctrl R and scrolling the mouse wheel, and then I have this loop that protects, that goes around basically the nostril, the wing if you want, and that goes toward the center, which is alright. So now I will extrude this line that goes toward the center of the nose, and I will have to define the plane, the bottom plane of the nostril, and we'll do that soon. Okay, but before, maybe I can merge those two vertices by pressing M, and then I can add another vertex by pressing Ctrl R, and I can join maybe this. Here I can join this, adding another vertex by pressing Ctrl R. I can add one there, selecting this edge, and I can fill the missing pieces over there. So now here I know I will need to close the gap, so it won't be that easy for now. So let's bring maybe one more cut on the nose there. I can project it by pressing G, and usually you have a lot of cuts in the center because it defines the center line, and it spreads on the top. So here I will be able to have much more topology for joining the nose and the center line, which usually I like to have that. So adding two cuts, I can project them again by pressing G, And here from the bottom, like you see the projection like was not well placed. But for now what I can do is, maybe I will come back later on, but for now what I can do is I can already close the gap for the bottom plane right there. Maybe I can extrude using the F2 add-on some new loops like this, following the border of the nostril. Okay, so this goes over there, this goes there. Okay, and for now, even though it's not perfect, I think this is good enough so we can progress. So I can generate other faces there, maybe closing this one. And there, I'm not super happy with the way it goes. So maybe I can add another cut. Maybe I can join those two vertices together. And here I can solve the puzzle like this. Okay. So this is I think the topology of the nose right now is okay. It's not ideal because like I really like this flowing toward the center, which is like usually what happens from an anatomical point of view. But I think we have to move things around a little bit more to have like a better control of the shapes. But for now, I think it's good enough. We have enough information to generate the next step. I'm gonna add a cut over there because this is going to define the crease on the top of the nose. Something that is very Disney-like, to be honest with you. And now I can close like this, and like this, the top of the nose, which looks alright. And if I ever need to have much more topology on the top, I can do that. Press G to project it, and again, because I didn't sew that, I need to bring it back toward the center. And as you can see now, here it happens that I have a nice topology, I think, for the nose. We're gonna probably fix some stuff later on, but at least for now it's okay. So here, if I'm selecting this, you can see I have 9 vertices in the bottom, which is not ideal. So I can add one more cut there, flowing to the center. I can maybe press G twice to flow back this toward the center, toward the top, sorry. And now I can find a way to close this. So to close this, I'm gonna basically do that, and I think that for now it's going to be alright. So let's select this, press I, G. So I will basically do an inset, and G will do the projection, the usual projection that we have. Okay, so for now I think that this is fine for the nostril. Okay. So as you can see, we managed to control the topology of the nose at a very specific location, which is nice because let's isolate this back and remove the in front, not the in front, but let's hide for a moment the view over there, and let's shade smooth this. You can see that when adding a subdivision surface, we have the right volume for the nose. Okay, we have the right crease, and this is super cool because we still were able to maintain the shape without any trouble, correctly with the right amount of density for this polygon, for this area. Sorry. So the next difficult area will be the ear, but we're going to deal with that later on. But let's finish the mouse for now. So the mouse, usually what I'm doing is that I'm extruding some stuff directly like this, and one way to do that actually is to select everything, to scale the loop. So I'm selecting the loop by pressing double click because I'm in the emulate 3-button mouse, because I have the emulate 3-button mouse option, as you remember. Or the other way, if you don't have this option turned on, is to press Alt and left click to select the loop, which is the old way of doing that. Okay, so let me bring that here, and we'll have to over there smooth things out for the loop. but for now I'm just placing the direction of the mouse. And here I can go in sculpt mode, and pressing shift I can smooth the loop a little bit, but this is not going to snap to the geometry below, so you have to remember that. But this is going to help me redirect the flow of my loops in an easier way. And then I come back, select the geometry that I've touched, and press G to project it back. Okay. So I'm quite happy with the way we are right now. So now the things that I need to do is probably lower down this piece and add one more cut that I can integrate by pressing G. And maybe here I can select everything and smooth a little bit by pressing Q and smooth. And if you don't have this in your quick favorite menu, you can right click. While being in vertex mode, you can add the smooth vertices option. Okay, and now when you press Q, it's there. The cool thing is that even when you're in face mode or in edge mode, you can still press Q and the option will still work. Which is not the case, which apparently the option doesn't exist in edge mode and in face mode. So now I'm going to again simply extrude, select this loop and extrude it, and maybe instead of extruding it, I'm just going to scale it on the z-axis, okay, to make it to make it to put it at the right location, something like that. So here it's going to be very tight, okay, but this is normal. This is the area where things are quite tight, the corner of the mouth. And one thing that I want is I want a very symmetrical number of vertices. So here I'm going to slide this loop by pressing G twice, okay, but I'm going to rotate it a little bit like that. And I want to have another loop that basically joins the top and the bottom vertices. So adding a new loop there. This one is quite aligned. Now I want to move this one there. And 1, 2, 3, as you can see, I need to add 1, 2, and 3 loops over there that will basically mirror the top ones. And one thing that I can do is I can go in mirror mode over there. I can press N, and in the tool, not N, sorry, I can go in the options over there, and I can use mesh boundary. I can remove the mesh boundary options, so I can now manipulate the boundary of my topology, and I will basically spread, as you can see, the loops so they fade out, which is a nice way to do it using the sculpt mode. Okay. And because I've moved too much things, I can also use now the shrink wrap modifier, and I can use the sculpt, and you can see it shrinks everything to the mesh, and I can press Ctrl A on top of the modifier to apply it. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to connect those pieces together until the end, and you will see you will have a triangle, and then I will add a cut that I can project by pressing G once. And now what I can do is I can select this loop and press V to disconnect it, okay? And I can, in this context there, I can merge those vertices together like that. Or you know what, instead of that, I'm going to press V to disconnect my vertices together, press M there, and this loop shouldn't connect to there, so I can press V again, and V again, sorry. So let's remove that, and let's press the F2 add-on to generate. Basically what I want is this loop connecting to this one. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm going to do. So I want this to connect to this one, so let's connect it. And what I've made wrong is, okay, so I have an issue. When I have an issue, usually what I do is I destroy things and I redo it. So I know the top one is going to connect to this one, so this is what I'm going to do. And I know the bottom one, the top one over there is going to connect with the bottom one. So I have this and I have this, okay? So now that I have my proper loops for the leaps, I can still add some loops there. And let me polish the loops around. I'm gonna try to pinch everything there, but before doing that, I'm gonna smooth once, press G to snap everything. And I'm going to use the proportional editing, but the connected one, pressing Alt O, and this will help me move things down a little bit and really find the, it's like a grab brush if you want, and this will help me really find the shapes that we've done in sculpting. Still making sure that the lines align correctly. And you can see also like how we have the center line that we should really find in terms of shape, like a M shape, okay, which works now much better, as you can see. So I think that for now, regarding the topology of the bottom part, we are alright. So let's move to the side and the eyes. Okay, so pressing Alt O, and Alt O to disconnect the modifier, the proportional editing. Sorry, what we can do right now is to try to connect the things on the top. So one thing that I can do is maybe I can bring those vertices together, pressing M, okay, and trying to have a better flow toward the eye. So you can see how those lines are connecting to the eye, which is nice. Okay, I will have to open a bit more this piece. And here I truly believe that I need to add some lines, so I'm going to add a cut, and this is going to be perfect because this is going to follow the shapes that I want. Maybe I need to add more cuts over there to define the jaw much better. So here I have 3 vertices that I can add, 3 cuts that I can add. Why? Because simply I'm going to be able to join them like this. 2 cuts over there. Again, I can join them like this. Maybe here I will have a pull, so I'm going to extrude and do something like that, because here I know that I will be able to separate the flow. So this is going to go that direction, but the mouse from the corner, it's going to flow back there, which is going to be good. And it's going to avoid having too much stretching. Here I can extrude, When I say extrude, actually it's not extruding, it's generating the face. And here I can add 1 cut, I can slide this one, maybe I can select this one, and press G to move it. Let's connect this one, adding a cut over there, and you can see how this puzzle is being closed properly. Let's add a bit of smoothing with those faces, so I can press 3 to go in face mode and smooth a little bit, maybe not the bottom one, smooth, and press G to snap everything back. And there I think that I will need to have much more loops there, so at least 2. So I'm gonna add 2 loops there and probably 1 more loop there. Again, we're not dealing with a game topology, so I'm okay with having more geometry. I wouldn't approach a topology for game in that way, but with the same idea, at least with the same concept of loops, but not with the same amount of topology. But here I'm saving some time. And I know that here you see the loops, probably this one is going to flow. Probably this one is going to float there. This one is going to float there, and you see how I have like two cuts. So 1 cut there that's going to connect to this one, 1 cut there that's going to connect to this one. Here I see a flow that calls me over there that I can bring. here I see a flow there. Here I can add a cut that I can place, and maybe one more over there. And let's try like this, and you can see how this can flow. So we have this loop that I think I'm gonna connect to this one. So let's do that. I'm gonna connect this one to this one by just an edge, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna add by pressing Ctrl R, 1, 2, 3, and 4 cuts. And then I can close that pretty nicely. And 1, 2, 3, and 4 cuts. And let's try to, and one more to connect the things. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and one more over there, and here I can finish the things like that. The thing like that. So this is one way to do it. So this is too tight in this area. So what I can do is I can smooth everything multiple times, and then using the sculpt mode, I can push that back. Maybe before doing that, maybe I can push this line a bit back like this, and here I can select everything and smooth things, smooth things multiple times, bringing back this area to the back. Just to say it, because I think it's really interesting, there is an add-on that is called Smooth Preserve Brush, I think, that enables you to grab while snapping, while maintaining the volume of your mesh. This is a super cool add-on that costs like I think $7 or something like that. I really encourage you to buy it if you're into retopology and into modeling a lot in Blender, because this helps preserve the volume in a very nice way of your mesh. So you can see that here I'm getting, I think, a nice flow. I've controlled the pole over there. Here I have a pole too. Maybe I'm gonna slide this geometry down, something like that. I'm going to try to dive more and more toward the top of the head. Let's do the eyes. So I'm gonna extrude or generate those faces there. And then here you can see how from this point I'm able to extrude this full loop, and I'm going to directly place the corner of like the shape of the eyelid, which usually is a good thing, like in topology, when doing retopology or topology directly. You want to align things first and then fill the gap. So here I know that this flows to the back, so I can scale it and make it flow to the back. Let's move it like this. Let's align some stuff, some lines better. So what I'm looking at is this loop, this loop, this loop, this loop, this loop, this loop. Basically, I'm looking at the flow and how everything flows together. Okay, so going back there, making this nice shape flowing to the center. So you can see I don't care about like the loops for now. I'm only caring about placing the outer side of the eye, something like that. Okay, and now I need to care about like having more geometry on the top, because I know I will need to mirror. So this is going to be mirrored, this is going to be mirrored. Maybe I can bevel this loop by pressing Ctrl B. This is a nice way to generate a new loop in Blender. So this is approximately there, maybe one more there, It's okay if it's not perfectly symmetrical in terms of loop, but at least you got to have the same density, the same approximative density. So you'll be able to, when you close and when you rig the character, to have a nice, at least the same amount of volume around this eye. Okay. So now that I have this, easy stuff, I add some cuts, press G to project them. Okay. I can even now follow the inner loop. So one way to do it clearly is to hide some loops. And here I can simply be sure to project this loop to the right location. Same thing over there. Pressing Alt H to make everything come back. I can add another one, pressing G to project it, another one there, pressing G to project it. And you can see how it's easily controlled around the eye. And now that I have this, I really want to slide some loops to make them less tight over there. So pressing G twice helps me a lot doing that. And also going in the sculpt mode, I can smooth things by pressing Shift, make the inner loop tighter over there, and I can add one cut over there to make the edge of the corner of the eye even more straight, pinched. Let's do that. You can see multiple colors there. It's because it's the face set of the sculpt mode. Don't care about that for now. If you want to remove them, you can go in the, I think in the face set options over there, and you can say randomize color, not randomize color, but you can initialize by loose part. This will remove the face sets, so something like that. And you can change the randomize color if you want to have a better color, a clearer color. Let's press smooth a little bit, and now I will still need to add a new shrink wrap modifier on top of this mesh and apply it so it snaps back all the things that I've added on the mesh. So here we are quite good to go, I think. The next few things that I will... Here it's still a bit too stretched, if you see, there and there. I'm not a huge fan of this area, so I'm gonna try to do something to manage, maybe to manage to bring the pull higher. So let's do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to do this at least. So one way to do it is to add another cut on that flows back to the eye, which is a possibility, maybe a nice one, because I will be able to define more things near the nose. And this will flow like this, so I can add more geometry there, and so this has to flow back there. So let me press V, or at least delete this face. Okay, no, was not a good idea. So I'm gonna do that again, A small issue over there. I know that I need this to flow in the right location. So maybe, you know what? Maybe it's the right time to delete some more faces. I know that this can come there. Maybe I can do this. So I know this will come around the mouse. This will come there and there. And this can merge to this one. And here course this is not working. This should go down toward the center, but I don't want to add another loop. Maybe I can bevel this. Maybe I can bevel this temporarily, so this goes down, and here I can generate this, and here you can see how I'm screwed. So maybe in fact, you know what, maybe pressing Ctrl and double clicking there allows me to come back to where I was. This is an interesting puzzle. So one way to solve a puzzle like that while dealing with topology is to try to collapse some loops. So here I've collapsed this by pressing Ctrl and double click to select the loop and collapse the loop. It's in the delete menu, by the way. I have this loop, I have this loop, this loop. This is going fine. I think I've solved the issue, at least I'm back to where I was, I think. So okay, I think I got the things right, at least for the amount of polygons that I want. Yeah. Okay, let's stay like this. Maybe we'll have to rework a bit some shapes later on, but for now at least it's okay. And let's try to do the topology of the ear right now. So the topology of the ear will be, for now I'm going to disconnect everything from the head, and I will basically try to follow this, which is the helix. You can see it's already in the wrong direction due to the back face visualization. I can press Shift N with everything selected, or this selected, Shift N, and recalculate and inverse to the inside to see my polygon. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to follow this. I can also right click to make it look correct, sorry. And also making sure I project this by pressing G. And I'm gonna press Shift H to hide everything else from what I'm working on, which is the ear. And I'm gonna fade also the loop. So you can see I'm trying to radiate each time the loop toward the center, which is a good thing. Okay, so I think I've added too much annotations over there. Okay. So now that I have this, I need to find a way to generate the volume of this helix. So one way to do it will be to extrude on top like this, and to basically generate the volume from, like if I were adding a cap, you know, to the outer volume. So I'm gonna do that there, and I will be missing, I think, some parts there. So here I know I will be extruding the rest toward the bottom, and there I can add another cut, and here another cut, and here I can close the gap like this. So it's not super ideal, I will say. I would prefer to actually follow the bottom, so I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna follow the bottom line like this. I'm gonna try to find a better way to move the topology later on. So for now, let's do this. So the outer cap is okay approximately. We are going to rework the shape a bit later on, but I know that I have this. This is going from the top, and this can connect back there, and over there. So let's bring back this to the center. Let's extrude this there, and now what I can do is exactly the same thing that I've done for the cap, but this time let's do it inside. So I can create a thickness for the inside. Okay. And this is where the visualization that we've added, the cavity thing, is quite interesting, because we can see better where the volume actually. So you can see how easily there I can generate the volume for the inside, and this will help me define even more the lobe of the ear, of the bottom part. So you can see how everything looks interesting right now. One thing that we can do is we can extrude this part, which will be the Y of the loop. So if you look at an ear, you will see that it looks like, this piece looks like a Y shape. So we have a small bump in the inside there, and this goes like this, like a wrench shape or a Y shape. Okay, and this goes and follows the shape until it connects with the tympan there. That protects the eardrum actually. Something like that. Okay. So we can connect now things. This with this with this. I need to add a cut. Let's slide this. I need to add a cut. Okay. Here maybe I need to add a cut. To extrude, to generate and generate. So I think we're good to go like this. Let's look at from the front. I think it's okay, as you can see. And here maybe I can generate, either I can generate a face like this, but I'm not, I think I still want to have more face on the top. So I will be adding 2 cuts. Will help me define, that will help me basically connect the hole over there. And if I'm selecting everything there, you can see I have 9 faces, which is not ideal. So let me remove one loop. And when I say it's not ideal, is that I know I will have a triangle when joining the things together. And here I think I'm good regarding the face. So yes, I will be able to generate this to this, having 2 triangles and adding another cut there to close the gap. So you can see how we have this nice Y shape, and here this nice shape too that follows the rest. Again, I'm not inventing, I'm not learning by heart some topology stuff. I'm just trying to follow the shapes. I know the shapes, and this is like the most important thing to remember, is that when you know the shapes, you know how to connect them, how to synthesize them using a topology. And this is what you want to learn, is more about the anatomy rather than the topology. Okay, so here I want to connect this and this. Maybe I know I will have the hole over there. Maybe let's try to connect these things there. Let's try to generate a face. Here we're a bit screwed, so maybe I can add a cut like this to close the puzzle. So is it good? I don't think it's good. So let me delete some stuff, and maybe I will, from this I will follow the edge there. I think this looks much nicer, even though we have a pole there, which is okay, I guess. Let's do this. Maybe we can go straight now there. And this goes to the inside of the ear, which basically from now on we can try to connect this piece. So let's extrude one quad there, and let's add one more loop. I think we can also, maybe let's try to connect this And let's for now assume that we have this piece. So this connects like this, so it's not a perfect loop, but it's still alright. So maybe we can extrude, we can press V, sorry, to disconnect and try to find a better solution. So a better solution will maybe be something like that. And it's like, again, like for now, this is like trying to sort a puzzle, sorry. This is what I'm trying to do, as you can see. Maybe I will merge those vertex together. And now I have like this that I can extrude. And this will be to the center of the ear. And I will try to fade the loops in a way that doesn't stretch too much. And here, let's do how much vertices they have. I have 9 again. So maybe I can add one more there. Not super happy with this. This doesn't define the shapes well. Maybe I can connect that there. Having a much better protection over there for the eardrum. You know what? Even this for me is a call to reconnect the loop toward the center like this, to have like this protection. I know it's not going to be super fine because I will have many loops to connect back to the head. So let's go back and let's assume this for now. And here I have 10 edges. I can close that maybe. And here I have 8 edges, 8 vertices, and let's fill the loop like this. Even though this should be a true hole with a cartoon character, usually we can go like closing the loop, and in any case I still think we'll have some hairs going on top of the ear, so it's not going to be a huge issue. But you can see that now we have the ear that is almost finished. We need to still do the back, which is hard. Stay with me. We'll have to close that. So the first thing we have to do is this, which basically is a way to add, to protect the outer edge and to create the thickness of the backside. Something like that. And then we will have to again extrude. So here I'm going to extrude a triangle there. Not extrude, but to generate a triangle. And I'm going to extrude to generate, in this case, new faces. For the back, trying to follow the curve of the back of the ear that we've defined in the sculpt. Maybe I can extrude directly those edges to save some time. And here I will generate this triangle. And why I've done that, it's because now I can add safely a loop that I can project, and this gives me even more detail like this. And I know that this connected to a triangle on the top, and that I can create what we call a diamond quad, which is this sort of quad. Okay, so now I have the back of the ear, and now it's going to be the famous nightmare of connecting the head back to the ear. So one way to do that is to press Alt H to bring back the thing. So one way to do that is, like, first I need to add some cuts there that I know will be quite important. And now I can try to, okay, first connect the top. Let's try to do that. Okay, let's try to remove as much stretch as possible in those loops, so they look like they're facing each other. Something like that. Okay, this connecting there, there. Here I have an issue, is that I need to join 2 with 1. So there are multiple ways to do that. One way is to maybe redirect the flow down. So it means that I can connect that there, adding a cut, and this will connect like this. So this is one way to do that. I'm not a huge fan of this, to be honest. So one other way will be to split this, so to extrude this and to split it like that, which can be okay. One other way will be to try to remove the detail in the ear. So I'm gonna collapse this edge and collapse another one. You can see this will create over there a quad, okay, like this, and here we have a quad. So this is a solution, but the issue is that I have this polygon that is stretched too much. So I'm gonna try to stay like that for the outside, and I'm gonna try to remove this and to solve the puzzle in a better way. So I know that this can come there, I can do that. I know that I will have to do this in this situation, and I know that I need to close this thing. Okay, so maybe I can generate a face there. Let me check. Okay, maybe let's remove this. Maybe I can do something smart about the shape like this. Okay, I will try to do that. I will try to extrude this edge and scale it down, connect it there, connect it there, adding a cut down there, and here I'm a bit screwed unless I once again. Okay, I'm going to press Shift Tab to remove the snapping. I'm going to slide those 2 loops together, moving this thing down. Adding 1 cut there will help me. So remember, I don't have the snapping over there. That's why I'm not messing up the back. And now I can properly fill the gaps there. So can I do that properly in a better way? Let me try to merge this vertex. This is a way to do that. I'm not a huge fan though. I'm gonna merge this loop because I think this is adding too much, so I'm basically going to collapse it. And let's add a triangle there, and let's try to fix this triangle by adding a cut. So I can collapse an edge on this loop, adding back the loop like this. So this creates a nice shape there. Here the issue is that I have still a triangle to solve, but I may be able to solve the full thing by collapsing this loop like this. So I have solved the issue. And I may be able now to redesign a little bit the shapes and basically fade out the shapes and rebalance the full topology. So this was a bit hard to do, but I think this is something that is working fine. Maybe I can not destroy this because I'm not a very huge fan of the pull that I had in the center, so I'm gonna try to close the gap there again, following the shape. Let's remove those inner vertices. Let's redo that once more there. Pressing G twice to slide the thing. And maybe now this is 10 vertices, therefore I can connect them like this, and I have solved my full ear in a much better way, and it connects to the side of the face in a much straighter way. As you can see, it's straight. Okay, so I've messed a lot. I've moved a lot of vertices, so I need to add a shrink wrap. So you see it connects back properly, and I applied a shrink wrap, so this is much better now. And now the thing that I can do is I can select those vertices, those edges, sorry. So I've moved in edge selection by pressing the 2 key, but you should already know that. I'm going to realign some loops, and now I'm going to basically extrude things like that. Oh, I forgot to use the snapping, so pressing Shift Tab I can re-enable snapping, and let's do that for the last one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Snap everything. Let's smooth, scale, press G, and let's now select this loop and close the gap by pressing F multiple times. And let's go back with the sculpt and move down this piece. Let's smooth everything for the forehead. Basically now we're going to try to sculpt the forehead. Something like that. Again, the cool thing is the shrink wrap modifier that we can use. Shrink wrap, we select the sculpt, we apply the shrink wrap. We are getting close to the end of this retopology, as you can see. So the next thing we can do is connect the top. So I forgot to connect this one, so quite sad with this one. Let's delete it, and let's connect it. Let's connect the ear directly to the top like this. This is going to be much more interesting shape-wise. Yes, okay. And now for the side of the ear, what I can do is something like this. 1, 2, 3. I connect. I go around the mesh. I don't know how many cuts I will need, but for now I can do that. Let's again extrude more things there. And I need to start to radiate a bit more for the forehead, so that's why I'm doing that. Okay, I'm gonna push back to the center, extrude a loop, extrude some things and scale them. And here I need to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So I can also add 1 and say here I want 5. There's another way to do that. And here I know that I will be able to connect things. From the back point of view, I can connect them directly like this. I need to bevel this loop, so I select it and press Ctrl B, like that. And I know that here I can add 1 cut to compensate for the stretch. Okay, so let's select everything for the forehead, for the cranium, sorry. maybe not this, and press smooth a couple of times. Let's press Alt S, sorry, let's come back first. Let's select the missing part. Let's remove this. Okay, remove this. I'm pressing C, by the way, to select. And Shift Tab to remove the snapping. Press Q and smooth a few times. Alt S to regain the volume that was lost. I can also continue the extrusion over there, and maybe here I can do the bottom piece. So let's do that. So this is going to be snapped also, so I'm going to select this and press G to snap it, and also you remember that Shift Tab is for bringing back the snap, so that's why I'm doing this. Okay, let's connect that, adding loop cuts on the fly, 1, 2 maybe. Okay, I'm good with that. Let's select this loop. So in order to select it quickly, I can select the first vertex and press Ctrl and left click to the end. So basically this is a shortcut in Blender that enables you to select the shortest path between your selection. Okay, so I'm going to do that in order to close the cranium section. So let's reselect the cranium section and press Shift Tab again to remove the part. Okay, and now maybe it's time to add a shrink wrap back. Selecting the mesh, applying the shrink wrap. I will detour the ear after. Don't worry, but for now I'm okay like that. And for the bottom part of the cranium, I know I will do something like this, following basically the base of the cranium. So Shift Tab again to re-enable the snapping. I'm forgetting that all the time. Here I'm connecting this to this. One cut. Let's add a few more cuts. And I think this can directly go to this one. This two. I can remove one cut over there, adding one cut there, finishing the thing, and here I can slide this one there to connect it there, adding one more there, two there, and I have the back of the cranium being solved. So now it's a matter of selecting the thing, deselecting this. So in order to deselect with the C key, you can use the middle mouse button and paint. So I'll smooth, but Shift Tab in order to remove the snapping. Smooth multiple times, Alt S to scale along the normal. And maybe here this goes down a little bit down. A little bit more, sorry, and I can now use the shrink wrap again. And I can select my mesh and press Alt A on the modifier, sorry. And here I think I'm quite good to extrude to extrude some stuff, but before what I want to do is I want to extrude this to start generating the bottom of the jaw. So I think here we can extrude this multiple times. I'm going to extrude another loop around the bottom of the jaw like this. You can see it's quite easily done. Let's re-add a shrink wrap because I forgot to and apply it because I forgot to enable snapping using Shift Tab. And now you can see how I can easily regenerate some of the loops for the bottom of the jaw. just a matter of filling the puzzle here, but it's quite a simple puzzle, at least for now. Let's do this, remove this line, let's connect this together, and now I can pretty much go from the back to this edge loop. Oh, I have an issue. Okay, let's remove that. And okay, I have another issue over there. Let's remove that. I'm fine. Let's do that and push to the end. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can add that. Let's close the gaps. Okay, so I need much more over there. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and here 1, 2, 1, 2. So I should be able now to press Ctrl F and use the grid fill add-on, which is not the case. So why isn't it happening? So here, here, and here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. I'm missing one loop. Let's add one there for now. And as you can see, I will have to relax things a bit more. Let's go in the sculpting view and push that forward like this. This is not very ideal, the amount of loops that we have in the back of the head. But we can try to later on find a better solution. Let's add a shrink wrap modifier, adding it, applying it. Okay, I think we're quite going in the right direction there. The last thing I need to do is to maybe here close the under plate of the jaw. So let's do that like this. You can see how this can connect to there, and here I want 1, 2 at least, so I know I will be able to do something like this, and here one more cut will bring me to this solution, which is wrong, which is not very nice. So probably I will have to add one more cut there and close the thing like this. So if you look at it, this piece can be smoothed a little bit, and here we are following, as you can see, pretty much the underplate of the jawline, which is quite nice. And you can see that the opening for the neck is quite clear right now. It's this one. So in order to do that, to create the neck, what I can do is simply I can press Shift Tab to remove the snapping, and I can extrude the neck like if it was a cylinder. And I can also right click and use the loop tool add-on to create a loop, but apparently it's not working so well. So one way to make it happen better is to apply the mirror modifier to make the loop tool circle. So now it's a perfect circle, as you can see. Like this. Okay, I'm going to scale it down. Extrude, scale, extrude, down, scale. Okay. Something like that, making sure I still have a symmetrical mesh. And now what I can do is I can double click the center line, same thing in the front, press V to disconnect this, press L on the left side, remove this and add back a mirror modifier. And in edit mode I can add back the clipping option. So selecting the center line basically, I can make sure to reproject it to the center by pressing G and Z and Y, sorry, and X, sorry. Let's spread a little bit some loops from the back. I'm not a huge fan of this, so maybe I will be able to destroy it and redo it. But for now, let's add a shrink wrap modifier, selecting the sculpt. As you can see, everything goes back to normal. I can also try to smooth things in the back while still maintaining the shrink wrap in place, which helps a lot. Okay, let's apply the shrink wrap modifier. Let's reapply the center line to the center in both directions to be sure it's okay. So I have an issue over there, I've selected too much. Same in the, wow, I made a huge mistake over there. Whoa. I made a huge mistake. Okay, things were not snapped to the center. Here it snapped. Here it snapped to the center too. Let's apply the shrink wrap. Okay, we're good to go now. Again, so the face set, I'm quite unhappy with it. So again, you can initialize face set by loose part again. I'm gonna smooth things a bit more there, trying to round the loops for the bottom side. Adding some smoothing over there is quite easy because you can just tap and it works. And I'm not a huge fan of this pole, to be honest with you. I think it's not ideal. But it's let me check if I can move it to a better location. From the bottom it's okay there, but here it bothers me a little bit. So, and in any case I think I have too much loops in the back there. So let's see how I can remove some of them. So I'm gonna destroy a lot of things there by removing some topology in the back. And I'm gonna try to same thing with that, and I'm gonna try to redo it. In a way that makes sense, but in fact, you know what? I think it was going fine actually. So I don't think I will be able to do much better in this context. Maybe here I can join this loop to remove one loop down. So here I'm able to do that, pressing Shift Tab to snap. I don't know how many I need to add, but probably that much. And I think at least one loop less is still fine for me. Okay, something like that. I think I can bevel this one and scroll it Still missing one, I think. Oh, that was too much. Yeah, I think it's much better. I have less loops from the back. What I can do is I can select this and smooth it a little bit. And now what I can do, I think it's much better like this. I have control. The pole is still over there. I would prefer to have it on the top. But I think it's still okay. One thing that usually I like to do in this context, and maybe you know what, maybe I'm gonna do it just because it's nice to share that with you. I'm gonna use the shrink wrap and snap back the things to the mesh. But one thing I want to do is I want to push the cladomastoid muscles. So I will have to destroy a lot of things again, but it's going to be for the better. Actually, so I'm going to delete some vertices over there. I'm going to delete this too. And now I'm going to, like, I know the under plate of the jaw is fine, so I can skip it. But what I want is I want to extrude this down to the neck, which represents the what we call the sternocleidomastoid muscles, and are quite important for neck, especially for the twist of the neck. So this will be a nice thing to add. So I can merge some vertices. And let's add one loop there. And let's try from there to extrude down. The issue with this technique is that we'll have too much in the bottom. We'll have too much geometry, as you will see. But for now, I'm only reaching for the right topology. We can still redirect some loops in the jaw. So let's continue with that. And here we can say this flows to the back. So let's do that. I can connect this together. Here I see this is quite hard to solve actually, but we are going to solve it, don't worry. Here I can try to do this. No, I need to connect it. Maybe let's do this. I have two loops, so one is going to be there. So I can try to go with that, which is not ideal. As you can see, it's not very interesting visually speaking. Maybe adding a bit of smooth in the whole piece will help me visualize a better situation, a better plan. So I can separate things out over there. Maybe adding this back to the top. Maybe I can join this to the top too, along with that. Something like that. The issue I have is that we have a pole underneath, but it's well placed, I think. Actually, we have two, which bothers me a bit. So what if I... No, this loop is fine. In fact, you know what? The pole is quite fine there. This loop going down, which is quite alright. This one going down, which is quite alright too. It still feels like a bit of a puzzle that is not solved properly over there. So because here this is too wide, we'd rather redirect this down. So let's do that. This is going to be redirected down. I'm gonna add a cut there. I'm gonna merge this together. And this loop going down there is fine. I know it's not very entertaining seeing that, but it's, you know, it's part of the job, part of the process. So actually, you know what, like when I'm facing an issue like that, it means that first I need a break usually, and also I need to destroy a lot of things. So let's destroy the things and let's redo it. And I prefer to keep that in the editing of the video, so you will be able to see how I solve those kind of issues. So let's remove that and let's redo the thing. So here I know I will go there. I will have to go down because this is the sternocleidomastoid muscles that should go down. Maybe I should go down there. This is going to go there, and maybe from now I can select this, make it go to the inside, close that hole, and you see I have less polygon there. So this is cool because now I will be able to do this, and you can see how now I can go down with a much proper in a much proper way. So I think I can even, like, from there, let's move this closer to the top because it's a pole and I want to hide it as much as I can. In fact, you know what, let's even remove this, something like that, extrude that piece. So you need to visualize this going down as the sternocleidomastoid muscle. So let me redirect it directly to the end of the connection of the muscle, and then maybe I can extrude the whole thing there, scanning it down, something like that, which makes more sense right now, as you can see. So I have the full muscle going down. I have a pole that is controlled there, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can do this. Let's remove this one. Okay, I can do this. I'm gonna smooth later on, don't worry about that. And here this is going down, and this is going to radiate out toward the trapezoid from the back. So I think from there I can extrude this, scale it, so you can see it snaps along with my selection, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, I can snap them from a good view, and then I can connect everything. So it looks like I was able to redirect the flow correctly. Now it's a mess, so let's go in the sculpt mode. Let's smooth things out a bit nicer. like this, you can see how we have the sternocleidomastoid muscle flowing from the back of the ear toward the front, which is exactly what this muscle is doing. And when adding blend shapes later on the mesh, or shape keys later on, you will be able to define a very sharp angle when doing, for instance, a facial rig. So I think it's good that you've seen the mistake that I've made, and now because you'll be able to see how I've solved it and make it a better, in order to make a better compromise. And now you're looking at my new shrink wrapped topology. Let's smooth things a little bit. Let's press the proportionality thing to make this look a bit rounder over there. And then let's add another shrink wrap modifier on top of that. Okay, and we can apply the shrink wrap. So it was a long work. I can right click and shade smooth to have the shading for the ear. You can see we have a very proper topology for this head. The last thing that misses that I'm missing there is the extrusion of the eyes. So I'm going to do that. So let's hide the eyes, and let's extrude the eyes toward the center. So I've removed, as you can see, the snapping, sorry, and now I have a much better thickness for the eyelid. And the other cool thing is that now I'm able to push, because I have a proper mesh, as you can see, I'm able to push back the eyelid, the top eyelid. So now I have a much better shape, and I will be able to model everything from now on using a nicer topology. I can even add some creases where it was hard to control, but I can now do it using modeling techniques. So as you can see here, I can even smooth a little bit, but I have much more control over my shapes. Okay, so this is I think a good moment to take a break, because we've achieved a lot of things there, and after the next break we'll be able to polish even more the shapes. Let me save things first. And I'm going to remove the in front option, and I'm going to hide the sculpt, or yes, just hide the sculpt. And also I am going to extrude by pressing E the eye socket even more toward the center, and I'm going to scale it down to a point in the center, and I'm going to press Ctrl plus multiple time and smooth the inner cavity. And maybe I'm gonna press from the top view, I'm gonna press Alt S to scale the cavity of the eye, and each time I want to grab the eye, I can select the center vertex and press Ctrl plus multiple time, and you can see how I'm quickly able to use the smooth operator to do that, to smooth things out. And now, so I can remove the sculpt, and now you can see how my head looks quite nice. What I can do is I can also remove this weird cavity option, press Ctrl 2 to have a subdivision interface on top of everything, and you can see how this now looks quite great. So the last thing I want to do before going with the break is I also want to fix over there the border of the ear. So one thing I want to do is maybe select a loop that goes around the ear, and I want to bevel it, Ctrl B, The cool thing with that is that I will be able to isolate the ear from the rest of the head, and as you will see here, when I'm selecting it, it's easier to select it basically. So we've done a lot of things. We have all the loops that we need in order to create a proper character. You can see here I'm adding a loop, and this works pretty well for the mouth. Here I can add some loops for the nose, even for the outer nose here. This creates a nice crease. Here you can add some loops if you want to define the loft line and the top of the nose even better. So yes, basically we have tons of things to play with, and let's now enter in the modeling phase for all the details for this character, so we'll be able to push things using a much nicer topology. So let's do that right now due to the magic of editing, but let's take a break, a well-deserved, I would say, break before going to the next step. Okay, so now that we have a retopologized character, we can start modeling and fine-tuning the mesh by simply pushing and pulling some vertices in order to define some shapes even more. You can see that here, for instance, I can correct some lines, some flowing lines, and this I can take as many times as I want, and I can even do it after the different steps that we're gonna go through. But if I see something that I can already start to tweak, it will be the right moment. So the first thing I want to do, because it was so hard to do while sculpting, is to finish or tweak, I would say, the eyes, especially the fact that the eyelids should go further back. So now that I have this, I can do it in a much easier way, as we'll see. So one way to do it quite properly is to actually select one loop and press Ctrl+ multiple times to isolate this part. So I can press Shift H to isolate this part. And now what you can see is that I have all the mesh that I need, and using the proportional editing and by pressing also Alt-Z, I'm able to quite easily, as you can see, push the things back. So now I will be able to in a very organic way model the eyelid and to push it back. So you can see that especially there I need to make sure that the eyelid goes around. So even from the top view you can see I can push it like this, which will help me define the crease on top of the eyelid in a much better way and much more realistic way. Also, you can see that the lines are not fading right in the right direction, so I can take a moment and compensate for that. Okay, so this will define the crease on top way better, and also I can select some vertices there and make them a bit more prominent to open the eyelid even more and to re-establish the thickness of the eyelid in this way. So probably this front eyelid is going too much forward, but I can adapt it again using the proportional editing in this case quite nicely like this. So maybe this one I can push it a little bit higher, and also maybe I will be able also to scale that vertically, so on the Z-axis, to create a nicer shape like that. So now we can see already, if I remove the display, that the eye seems more volumetric. But now by pressing Alt-H I need to adapt what I've done with the rest of my mesh. So I'm gonna smooth probably a little bit, maybe not too much, but maybe those vertices by pressing Q and smooth vertices, because I've added again my smooth vertex option in the quick favorite. And now I can be even more precise regarding the different lines and the side of the eye, something like that. And I think that this is going to be much more interesting like that. So now that I have this, I really want to define the eyebrows. and to define also the eyelashes. And in order to do that, we're going to model them. We're not going to use hairs. This is not a tutorial about hairs. Maybe one day I will do one, but I'm also going to, I think it's also the right time to maybe like push the whole thing forward and maybe to rotate it a little bit more, like that, meaning that I can bring the eyeball a bit forward too. Something like that I think is much more interesting regarding our design. And maybe also let me try to go back with the eyes and to define again the inner straight line of the shape of the eye. So this